Hi everyone. So I decided to do the semicolon because it is the most confusing one for me, at least. I've always felt like I am using it when I'm unsure of something or because the computer suggests it. So I decided to dissect this one to better put it to use going forward. And essentially what it is it's an alpha comma. It's a form of punctuation that is a little bit more emphasis than a comma. So if you're looking for a little bit more of a dramatic contrast between two different clauses, you're going to want to use the semicolon over the comma because it's going to make it a little bit more concise and clear between the two different clauses that you're using. So the main function of a semicolon is to replace conjunctions. Now, what is a conjunction? I don't know if you remember Schoolhouse Rock, but conjunction, junction, what's your function? Well, and, but, nor, or, so, and yet are the ones that you will typically see. So the idea of the semicolon is to replace these using sentences. So it prevents us from creating run-on sentences and essentially creating an emphasis on the split between the two. So if we go on to the next slide here, you can see the before column here. Injustice is relatively easy to bear, but what stings is justice. So if we instead remove the but right here, we go to injustice is relatively easy to bear, what stings is injustice. So it's a little bit more dramatic, it's a little bit more heavy than this sentence, which sounds a little bit more analytical. So in order to add a little bit more of effect, this is where semicolons are useful. Down here, in 1800, a traveler needed 6 weeks to get from New York City to Chicago, and in 1860, the trip by railroad took 2 days. Kind of a long one, even though if you look over here, it's only, two words less, but the flow of it is a lot easier to read. So in 1800, a traveler needed 6 weeks to get from New York City to Chicago. In 1860, the trip by railroad took 2 days. So it's a little bit more to the point. Doesn't sound as wordy. And then just a friendly reminder down here, a semicolon is used when a conjunction has been removed between two independent clauses. So if you look at these sentences, this is an independent clause right here. Injustice is relatively easy to bear. What stings is justice. So they could be two different sentences just on their own, but the semicolon is what attracts them together, what keeps them glued. And then here, you can use a semicolon between independent clauses linked with transitional expressions. So here, you'll see examples for both conjunctive adverbs and transitional phrases. On the bottom here are your rules. So a semicolon appears before a transitional expression when it falls between an independent clause. So the transitional expression here is in fact. So you'll see right here that the semicolon appears prior to that. The independent clauses are many corals grow very gradually, and the creation of a coral reef can take centuries. So there's two essentially different ideas that are being joined by the semicolon and the transitional phrase in conjunctive adverbs. And the next example, a semicolon appears between the clauses when the transitional expression appears between the middle or end of an independent clause. Again, most singers gain fame through hard work and dedication is the first clause, and then it's separated with the semicolon here. However, is the transitional phrase. So on the next page here, we'll see when not to use. So there's a couple different rules here between the subordinate clause and the rest of the sentence. So bolded here in red, comma is better fitting here, because it's not necessarily separating two different ideas, or you don't have a complete sentence on the other side of this semicolon. And then between the positive and the word it refers to, scientists were fascinated by the species. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, but again, you'll see after the semicolon that this is not a complete sentence. So to introduce a list, some of my favorite film stars: Uma Thurman, Halle Berry, Billy Bob Thornton, and Halle Berry, going ahead of myself. But yeah, so this one would also be not the most effective way to use a semicolon. The only time that you're going to see that you can use this that is going outside of the rules is if at least one of the independent clauses contains internal punctuation. You can use a semicolon even though the clauses are joined with a coordinating conjunction. So right here you'll see that there are commas between the beginning of the sentence and the semicolon, and also it starts off the sentence with an and, which is not typical, and usually we see this with commas. So I hope this helped people decipher the mystery that is a semicolon and when it is proper to use it. But it is definitely a shortcut to combining words and making your message a little bit more effective and lessening the word count so that the ideas that you're trying to convey are given a little bit more concisely. So I hope this helped. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day.